What is up, everybody? Welcome to the post-game show presented by Picassos Pizza. As always, here the Buffalo Bills dominated the Seattle Seahawks on a Sunday afternoon here, 31-10, and we're here to break it all down. Jake Micah, joined by Maniac. Maniac, you were down there in the city, getting with the people. How were the vibes during this game? Because I felt it was just nice, relaxing Sunday afternoon for me. I don't know about you, but it was a great. What a great Bills win. What a great day. I couldn't have imagined a better scenario out of this game than what we saw today from the Bills.
Micah, you're what, 1,200 miles away in Chicago. I'm guessing that number, but the vibes
Something like
you
that.
just described were perfectly spot on. I couldn't stop looking to the person to my left. I couldn't stop looking to the person to my right. And how nice is it just to have a nice little cruise? Obviously, it wasn't that way at half. But if you remember a lot of the games in early 21, early 22, a lot of people look back at those as quote unquote the Dable days, et cetera, yada yada. But case in point, it's just nice to have a nice cruise game, and they were able to really seize momentum out of half, already up 14-3. Just
Yep.
amazing to see, and obviously it all goes back. These blowouts are never created so easily. I think we all remember it was 7-3. The Seahawks are going in after that turnover, after the rare Josh Allen interception, and that's how quickly things can change in an NFL game. And I think it speaks to the prowess of the staff, and I think it speaks to the prowess of this roster that they were able to throw out such a dominant performance from that point on.
Were you nervous at all with 7-3 going into that drive before the half?
No, even when Seattle got the ball, I thought, oh, this might. And selfishly, I'm a Josh Allen fantasy owner. I thought, oh, this might be a chance for some better stats. If they go up 10-7 real
Good
quick,
call.
Josh gets a drive before half. He gets a drive after half. I just got to be honest, and it's easy to say this after the game, especially. But come on, at that point, even up 7-3, nothing the Seattle offense had done had threatened you. And that was exactly what we were talking about all week. If DK Metcalf didn't play, you were going to be able to put the clamps down on this Seattle offense.
Facts.
And McDermott and co did that from play one, Micah.
Facts, man. It was impressive performance. Christian Benford continued to put his name on the upper stratosphere of secondary and cornerbacks in the NFL. Impressive performance, and they got a lot of pressure. We talked about that earlier too. They were getting after Geno Smith today, to the point where we put it up there on the screen right to start. Geno was like crying. I don't know. Geno was so frustrated he couldn't contain it. Made Geno Smith cry as on the Bills raised the banner for them this year. It was a frustrating day for that offense. They couldn't run the ball for anything today either, and that's a credit to the Bills defense who took advantage of that. The Bills had just the one sack today from Solomon, but a lot of pressures on him. 5 quarterback hits, I think. So they were getting after it, and it was a really impressive, comprehensive performance.
I ain't no defensive guru, but yeah, it seemed like from the start it was can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, sorry. It was a commitment to the run, like for the defense, but it was a drop back and it was a convince Geno that you're coming at him, but you're not really coming at him from the start. How many times in the first half did we see that show blitz and they dropped 6 or 7? And there were a couple times, I want to say at least a couple, where Geno was throwing into double and triple coverage, and you just knew it was a matter of time, if not the when some kind of turnover was going to come given those circumstances.
Yeah, he didn't have a lot of answers. He was forcing it a lot today. It seemed like just a frustrating day all along. And you mentioned it with DK. That's a big loss for them. But they still have top flight receiver. Like Jackson Smith and Jigba and Tyler Lockett are supposed to be great receivers too. And the Bills locked up Lockett. No pun intended there. 1 catch for 9 yards. And Jigba was the leading receiver today, only 69 yards though. So the Bills defense all around did a great job. And this Bills offense, man, 445 yards of total offense. Josh Allen with 280 yards of passing, which remember there was discourse a couple weeks ago worrying about Josh Allen and the passing yards and under 200 yards for this amount of stretch and everything else. Since Amari Cooper's shown up, the Bills are lighting it up through the air. And the correlation is direct, and it's direct for one person. I shouldn't say one person because Kincaid gets his touchdown today, which good call, Maniac. What was the over-under on this game, though? Did your parlay hit? I don't remember what the total ended up finishing at. But you did have the anytime touchdown. Uh-oh. That's not
I,
you,
li-
right?
I literally got an ambulance whizzing by me right now. I'm walking away. But yeah, I think I held on at the end there. There was a little worry with those late Seattle turnovers, but under 46, under 45 and a
46.
half,
Okay.
and that Kincaid
Awesome.
tutty, I held on. So that was great to see. Obviously,
That's awesome.
you gotta always follow the Picassos pregame show. But with that said, yeah, it was methodical today from the offense, right? And I think we've seen that. I hate to say it, I'm going to keep doing it as long as it applies. But it's that trickle down Coopernomics of this
Yep.
offense. I think everybody has a little bit easier assignment. And you see that with the ease for Shakir. You see that with the ease for Dalton. You see that with the ease. I mean, have you seen Keon Coleman playing with so much
This
confidence
is
after
crazy,
that
man.
100-yard game? It really
How
is
excited
insane.
are you about Keon Coleman now? Like the last 2
And it
weeks.
was
Sky's the limit.
it was a tale of two rosters today because you had the Cooper effect on one side. Even if Cooper doesn't have a big game, he's at least making the assignments easier. And then, like
Yeah.
we said, you had DK out on the other side. Listen, Jackson Smith and Jigba, Tyler Lockett, they're great receivers, but when they're facing your top assignments, it just gets a little bit tougher, and you make it a little easier on making Geno feel a little bit pressure. But yeah, loved it across the board from the defense today. And Micah, I don't want to knock on wood because you never know till what might come out tomorrow. But right now, I feel like we got out injury free with a big win, and that doesn't get any
Yeah.
better than that.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a great news. It's a great day. Great win for the Bills all around, coming out unscathed with everything. And you mentioned methodical. First drive, 14 plays, 90 yards for 9 minutes. That's pretty methodical. The second touchdown, 12 plays, 93 yards, and 4-minute drive there. And then the third quarter, 7 plays, 51 yards, 7 plays, 73 yards to finish up the game. So all long drives, all drives where the offense is just keeping Seattle on their toes, methodical, like you said. They just have options everywhere. The Coleman thing is, I mean, Shakir having the day he had is awesome to see. Clearly his ankle's feeling a lot better than it was last week, even probably that extra week of rest and treatment and everything doing well. But Coleman, you have to be excited about the prospects of Keon Coleman after seeing what he's looked like with Cooper on this team. And as you said, Cooper doesn't even need to have a big day. One catch for 3 yards, 2 targets today, but clearly took enough attention from that defensive game plan and those corners that are, that's a good cornerback group in Seattle, but took enough attention from those guys to free up Coleman and free up Shakir enough. And Allen was on his shit, man. Even the interception, which I'm honestly glad that he finally threw a pick so we don't have to hear about when he's going to throw the first pick. Get it out of the way, whatever. And it was really Cooper's fault, not Cooper's fault, but he fell. And he couldn't fight for that ball at all, or at least get in there and break it up. So even the interception's not really.
I don't want to do any Bills anon, but I throw out the hashtag Cooper slipped. I'm not trying to, start any, dissension, but it's just the facts. And if you are Cooper, Micah, you have to look. Listen, don't look at your stat line. Look at Josh Allen's. How many games over 275 yards did Josh Allen have before you came to this roster this year? It was 50-50 shot at best, right? And he got it today, and that's all that matters.
Yep, it's paid off for these 2 weeks tenfold, and you can only imagine that it's going to get better as he gets more comfortable. And they clearly have the weapons. Like now it just the room looks, it all looks complete now. Adding Cooper in there, just even if he's not producing at a number one level on a day like today, he can play the role and has to take away that much attention and time from a team's game plan like the Seahawks. And honestly, it's a tough week for the Seahawks to play the Bills, not knowing exactly how they want to get attacked, because the Bills, it was so easy for them in that second half last week, and it's basically a new team. It's not like they have a lot of film on this new iteration of the Bills or anything, and the Bills just came out and torched them. And maybe the Seahawks are just mid. I mean, they started out hot 3-0, got to 4-3 last week. Now they're 4-4. They're still in it for that NFC West, but this isn't going to be a top tier team that the Bills play. But you still got to go and handle business. In the last 2 weeks, the Bills have handled business against mid to bad teams in the NFL, and they have now, Maniac, a commanding lead in the division, where if they beat Miami at home next week, I mean, it would have to be the biggest disaster. Yeah, can we hang that banner now?
What the Bills have done in 2 games against New England, all credit to New England. They beat the Jets today at home. But yeah, you look at the division. It was basically a perfect day across the board. The only thing missing was a Las Vegas upset over Kansas City. That conversation continues to be put on hold as we've talked about.
Yes.
And it will continue to be put on hold. But I'm sorry. My QB, Micah. I hate to make a point when I have to, but sometimes I see the narratives. My guy doesn't lose to Jameis Winston.
Yeah.
My guy,
Hey.
my guy just doesn't. I'm sorry, that's just not allowed. And I know you might point to Urban Meyer, Trevor Lawrence in the past. You might point to Mac Jones the best. Sorry, I mean, yeah, like maybe that. I'm sorry, you cannot tell me that's an MVP. You go out and you're losing to Jameis Winston. And I know quarterback wins are not a quarterback stat, but that's how simple it is. It was a great day across the board, and it was another great day for the narrative. And I'll say this, and you can use it as a knock on him if you want. But if you don't have a top 8 or top even 6 quarterback, Sean McDermott and co are going to put you in an absolute phone booth. They are going to make it very difficult, and they are going to make and when they see a weakness out the gate like they did today, they're going to press on it like a thumb on a bullet wound. So you can say what you want about McDermott when it gets to a big game of usage. But the reason he is going to keep getting extensions and the reason he's going to be the coach for almost as long as he wants to be is because when he's playing 70 to 80% of the league, he has a shot at blowing them out by 20 plus.
Yep. Yeah. That's perfectly said. They take care of business against these teams. They should, and they do this against good teams. They take away what they do great. I mean, there are good teams that are going to get, there's going to be slip ups and everything else from a week to week league. It's a long season and everything else. But yeah, very well said about this McDermott team and where they are among the NFLs.
I don't know what phrase the announcer used today, but he said like Tyler Lockett got a catch in like the late third quarter, and he was like, he's been eerily quiet today. And given that Metcalf was out, I mean, Lockett's your next guy up, with all respect to Njigba. Lockett's your proven vet. I mean, that's your like Lee Evans when Stevie Johnson's on the Bills. You know what I mean? Even with another guy, you're still making an impact, things like that. So it was a little crazy to see them just so taken out of the game. But yeah, it feels like the Bills are exactly where any fan would have taken them before the beginning of the season.
Oh yeah. All of us would have taken 6-2 going into this stretch, especially with the way Miami losing today. They're at 2-5, and that. So you love that going into this divisional matchup, and the Colts in a couple weeks. It's not the Colts are 4-4 mid team, so there's a very real chance of you going 8-2 going into Kansas City, even though they're going to be probably undefeated or whatever, something. It's crazy at this point.
Yeah, listen. I'm telling you, the smart thing for any Bills fan to do right now. Do not worry about Kansas City until they lose the game. Don't even give them a
here's the thing.
What do we got?
Can we talk about the next 2 games, though? They do play the Buccaneers, who, albeit very banged-up Buccaneers, would have been nice to have Mike Evans or whatever. And then the Broncos, which could be a tricky game. It's 5-3 Broncos now.
But I saw the Broncos struggling out of the gate with the damn Panthers.
The Panthers, yeah.
You're not going to be able to overcome a slow start against the Chiefs. I'm telling you, I am eyes on my own paper, Micah, until we're at like December at this point, because I just want to take care of our business, and I just want to keep rolling. And I'll tell you what, I'll say this right now on paper. It brings me just as much joy. It brings me just as much happiness stomping the Dolphins down into the basement as it does stomping me and keeping them out of the 2 seed last year. And it does stomping them and keeping them out of the national, pretty spotlight last year when you did it in the first week of October. I am going to savor every moment. And I'm not saying it with the cockiness. I could easily see that this could be like a Bills -6 or a Bills minus like 4.5. I don't even know what it is. Call me crazy. But I know we're still in for a game, but I will take just as much import on this task at hand next week as it is with everything on the fucking line.
All right. I like that attitude. Yeah, you got to handle the business. Shut the door. Don't give them hope, because that's what it'll do. That will galvanize. That would be a galvanizing game for not only the fan base of the Dolphins, but probably the team itself with how much they put on. We heard about how serious they were taking that first matchup.
If Tua comes up to Orchard Park and wins a fucking game, that's like Gandalf at Helm's Deep. That exactly, literally, yeah. I'm sorry, it is the exact same effect. Like, that's a shocking fucking situation, and I'm not going to allow that to happen. I will be the orc general. I'll be the pig face guy. I am making sure that we are not like turning a blind eye to the North Mountain. We are absolutely focused on the whole battlefield, and we are going to fucking crush these Dolphins. I can't wait to see how they come in, because they're going to, you know what they're going to do? The narrative all week is going to be, oh, we got nothing to lose. We're coming in, nothing's more dangerous than a wounded animal. Like, they're going to be using no one believes in us. They're going to be using all the narratives, and the Bills are going to show the entire country and the entire fucking NFL landscape that this is why, and they're going to crush them.
Hey, I love to hear that, man. Couldn't have said it better. And you were dead on. The Bills are a 6-point favorite opening up. 6.5 in some places, but mostly a 6-point favorite for Sunday against the Dolphins, which will be it's going to be a good – I mean, listen, man, between what we can get this week, you got the Dolphins there, that game. You stomped the Dolphins out. And the New York Jets are fighting for – I mean, I don't know if they have a season left, but they play the Houston Texans Thursday Night Football. That could be really fun. It could be another fun week as a Bills fan if you're looking forward to it. And I know that you said don't worry about Kansas City, whatever, but I have to do this as this show on here at least to mention that if the Bills do win the next 2 games and the Chiefs win the next 2 games, it is the 8-2 Bills hosting the 9-0 Chiefs. That will just be, what more could you ask for? I mean, that'll be the biggest NFL game and regular season game in recent memory, which this game has been for the last couple of years, but. Just a nice reminder to Bills fans. It could be worse. No matter what happens, it could be worse.
Just to be clear, I know that Buffalo might not even be on Kansas City's radar, honestly. But you got revenge spot too. I mean, the Bills roster is going to care about that revenge spot.
If Buffalo's not on their radar, who is at this point in the AFC? Because this Ravens team, who knows with this Ravens team? The Ravens have the most variance between the contenders because they can lose to 2 of the worst teams in the league and beat anybody else. The Texans have a lot of injuries in their wide receiver core, which get well soon. Stephon Diggs, hopefully he gets healthy, but with him and Nico Collins out, that's looking tough there. So it's ripe for the picking for these Buffalo Bills. Any last thoughts, Maniac, before we go?
Yeah, regarding Stephon Diggs, never forget that even Jamie Lannister, when he saw, his number one viral enemy down on his knee, did not then take his vengeance. You know what I mean?
Yep,
so remember that.
Exactly.
We don't want to see injuries. We want to beat Stephon Diggs on the field. We want to beat Stephon Diggs on the timeline. We don't want to beat Stephon Diggs through injuries. So obviously we were wishing him well. But yeah, Micah, I mean, it's just feeling great. Let's keep it rolling. The Sabres have won a bunch of games in a row. The Bills have now gone 3-2-3. It is great to be a Buffalo sports fan. Let's tune the fuck in and let's go the fuck on.
Let's lock in. Big week ahead, and you'll be back for Trainwreck tonight. I'll be back here for Pay the Bills. We'll be talking plenty more Bills, Dolphins, Bills, Seahawks this week. But hey,
and don't forget right now, the big show brought to you by TSE Buffalo at the Wings Lot this Friday and Saturday. Friday and Saturday tickets are available via TSE Buffalo's pages. Go to the link in their bios and get your awesome autograph and awesome experience opportunities now.
Lock in there and see the fellas. Yeah, thanks for joining along, Maniac. Thank you all for everybody who tuned in. Have a great night, folks. Enjoy your Victory Monday tomorrow. Go Bills.
Go